Hey everybody, this is your friendly neighborhood senior pastor here, Steve Keller. And I'm sending this in advance of our annual meeting, which comes up this Sunday, in which we will vote on elders, deacons, nominating committee, hear some reports among some other things. But we will also be voting whether or not to change Donnie Butkus's title from assistant to associate pastor. So we sent you that information. And we've gotten a good question back from a couple of you, and we thought, this is probably a good one for everyone. So it is, what's the difference? What's the difference between an assistant and an associate? Why does it matter? So I'm going to run you through a few just facts, specs about these two positions, and hopefully this will help a little bit. Okay, in common, there are commonalities between an assistant and an associate. Both of them are teaching elders in the EPC. So both of them are ordained and recognized as pastors. They share that in common. They also are members of presbytery. So they are full voting members, participants in the government structure of the EPC. And then finally, both an assistant and an associate are eligible for the same salary, the same benefits, study leave, vacation. Whether or not they get that is up to the church, but both are eligible. So that's what they have in common. The differences are, though, that for one, the session calls an assistant pastor, whereas only the congregation can call an associate pastor. So an assistant is a hire of the session, and an associate is a hire of the congregation, the people called. An assistant may never succeed the senior pastor. So if you lose your senior pastor, you cannot ever call your assistant to replace him. You can, though, with an associate. That, by the way, is rare. There's only a couple times that's even happened, but they are eligible to replace the senior pastor, which, by the way, don't get worried. That's not a problem here. An assistant is also hired for a specific amount of time. So for an assistant, it is a renewable contract, often 1, 2, maybe 3 years. At the end of that time period, quite often a session will recommend to the congregation that an assistant be called as an associate, or they might not honor the contract. They could renew it though. Whereas an associate pastor, it's like me. It's an indefinite period of time. There's no time period attached to it at all. And then finally, an assistant pastor is not a member of session, whereas an associate pastor is a member of session, and they have both voice and vote. So here we are now with Donnie, and here's what's going on with him. Donnie was hired 2 years ago as an assistant by our session, and the reason is because we were in the throes of COVID, and we weren't able to assemble together as the whole church to vote. So if you remember, during that time, we did business through email. We handled information in worship services or right after, but we weren't able to really come together to have a vote for something like this. So Donnie was hired as the assistant, and his contract is now up. He's at the end of that time period, and so session is doing what I referred to a moment ago, where they are now bringing Donnie to you, the congregation, and you can vote whether or not to call him as your associate pastor. Just so you know, Donnie in this situation would retain the same salary and the same benefits as before. So there is no financial increase to the church. Donnie's not getting a raise. He's not being given additional benefits. It's exactly what it is today. It would be next week as our associate pastor, if you so choose to do that. Donnie's responsibilities also will be the same. He will continue to function as our executive pastor. The difference would be that he would now be a member of session, and he would be your associate pastor, called and confirmed by you. Okay? So hopefully that helps a little bit. Just so you know also, the vote will be taken with a paper ballot this time. So we will vote for elders and deacons, nominating committee, through our normal all in favor, say aye, all against, say no. But for Donnie, in the case of an associate pastor, just so we have a good record and everyone can vote their conscience, we will do a paper ballot. It'll be a simple yes or no to confirm him. If 3/4 of the congregation votes yes, then Donnie will then be presented to Presbytery, who will confirm the call in about a week later at our Presbytery meeting. So I think that's just about it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. If there's anything I've said that you think I want more on that, don't hesitate. Call, email, track me down, and I'll be glad to answer any questions, as will our session. So feel free to reach out to them. We will take a moment in our meeting where we ask for any questions of clarification, but obviously if you got a big question, the best time's to ask it now, where we can drill down and just explore it together. So having said all that, God bless you. Have a great week. See you in a couple days.